Hey guys, what's up? I'm going to be turning one raised bed into three today. This is going to be a two-part series because it's going to take more than one episode to show you the three different ones that I'll be building. Be sure to click the subscribe button so that you won't miss out on my, future episodes. I started this garden out using the resources like milk crates that I already have around here, and then I've evolved to grow bags, but the problem is this is still much too low to the ground. I've been looking for solutions how to raise this garden higher to get more sunlight, especially in the winter here. It gets absolutely zero sun. Recently, I've received a tall aloe zinc raised bed sent to me by Forever Garden Beds. The great thing about these types of raised bed is that the material would last for a long time, way longer than wood. Also, it's just so lightweight, so easy to put together, so fast if you don't have to customize it like the way I'll be doing it, that is. What I love about this type of raised bed is that you can configure it to different sizes. This one specifically has up to 9 different sizes you can play with. However, in my space, it still doesn't work. It would still just leave me with 1 foot, of a walking space, and I can't get through with one foot if I want to bring soil. So I have to customize this for it to work in my narrow garden. Now that I got a little tiny more skill under my belt, super beginner in carpentry, I thought I can tackle this project to modify this bed. I'm going to first start by clearing this area up so that I can get this space ready to work. Wow, my mom was being super helpful. Cleaned the space up, and this is basically all the wood that I got, and I cut them up yesterday. I spent like 3 hours cutting this. Obviously, it would be a lot faster if you were doing it as something more efficient. I was using a hacksaw, a one-handed hacksaw. It's just kind of something that I have around here, and you can actually get them pre-cut if you get them at like Lowe's or I believe Home Depot for sure. After you purchase your wood, you can get them cut for free there. But this particular one requires very precise sizing, so I thought it would be better for me to do the measurements and recheck everything and cut them at home. So what I ended up doing is that redwood would last longer than Douglas fir, Douglas fir is something cheaper to use. Usually when it comes to building raised beds, you'd want to think about the longevity of, the material that you choose, such as the different kinds of wood, like the redwood, cedar. Redwood and cedar, I believe cedar is the first preference to use for longevity or durability, especially being outdoors. And then redwood, I believe, is a second choice. And then the one that's more economical would be the Douglas fir. And it's really like almost double the price to double or more than double the price to get redwood. So I decided that I would kind of compromise and combine the two together to make this part of this raised bed. Redwood being longer lasting, I thought I would build the frame, the main structure, using redwood, and then to cut down the cost, the one on the side panels, I would use Douglas fir. I figured that the side panels would be pretty easy to change out if needed, so it's okay that it doesn't last as long as, the base. It's definitely more important that it holds more weight, more moisture, and the soil is just gonna, retain in that area. So just to do that, cut down a lot on the cost. Especially, I went out and I asked the guy if there's any discounts around, and he said if I picked out the ones out of the discount section or the materials that has a little warp or some sort of, just kind of imperfect, show it to him after I picked those out, he would give me a discount. I ended up getting 70% off, guys. So instead of $100, I spent $30 on these materials. Aside from that, I also got, this floor is not perfect, so I figured that I would put these legs down. So I got these legs. I'm just going to put them on the bottom so that you can turn it to adjust the level to kind of keep it level. I think that's an easier way to do it for me. Otherwise, I think this would be an easier way for me to deal with leveling the raised bed. I will be using 6 of these, 3 and 3, and these came in a pair, like 2 pairs, so it came with 4. I had to buy 2 packs to make 6 of these. All right, let's start building. It's done. Part 1, ow. I leaned on this bracket. Oh, it's done. Part 1 is done. Took longer than I thought, but I'm happy that so far, I gotta say, it turned out good for someone who's never done this before. Yeah, ran into a couple of bumps and smoothed it out. You know, got stuck for a few hours on it. Ow. All right, so let's just put this down. I'm just going to explain a little bit what I did here. So I originally did not plan on building this portion. Just decided that it was just going to stay still here. If we really need to scoot it, maybe I should be able to scoot it just without the caster wheels. However, I think being on the caster would actually be a lot easier to push it around. So I decided to build the second frame, which is this one here. This goes on the bottom with the wheels, and then I'm using these brackets to use it to hold the raised bed together. And then they're going to be hidden after I put in the metal panels all around. And then the thing I ran into trouble with is that when you put these 2x4s together in the first frame, it was going so well because I was doing it. Let's just take these as examples. These are the 2x4s. I was putting all the joints vertically like this. So it was really easy to screw into it. Until I got to the second frame, which I thought it would be better to, for the top, the raised bed to sit on if it was flat, because it would be wider on the bottom. So I thought I would joint it like this rather than this, but jointing it like this doesn't give me enough surface space or, you know, the area to screw it in. I guess I could probably do it with the very long screws, but that's probably going to be really expensive. So that's when I started running into some problems jointing, you know, are these, I think they're called butt joints or something. So yeah, I relied heavily on these metal brackets. So these metal plates or brackets end up costing a little more on the project because I'm doing that instead of, you know, knowing the techniques to carve into jointing them, things like that. So then I looked up some ways to see how I can joint these together using screws instead of, you know, relying heavily on these brackets. I end up deciding to go with pocket hole because I have a pocket hole jig that actually picked up during the deal time over the holiday season. So that's what I ended up doing with one of them. So this one, you can say that I have done different ways. It's almost like a sample piece showing you the different ways of putting the piece together. I got, you know, frame, sort of like angle corner brackets to pocket hole joints. And then this part, I got these small little brackets. The reason I've done it this way is because I try to prevent the screws from getting so close to the caster wheels when I had to screw those on. The screws for, you know, the joints and the casters were getting really close to hitting. Anyway, it is done. I'm glad. Time to take out the second piece. Very tight fit, but it does fit. Whew, so glad I did the measurements right. So it's just gonna go in just like that. All right, let's lock this thing up so that I can put the second piece on top. See how the bracket's holding the top piece together so that I wouldn't move when I move it around. And the metal panels would go along this side, like the long way, and it will cover these plates. Okay, let's move it. Here's the level adjustment. It's really easy, you just screw them into the corners. These are the scrap pieces. I'm really glad I got them so that they can act as a shelf for the two fences or panels for fences to fit this space. And that should keep the soil intact. Now that the two frames are done, I just need to take care of one more thing before we start putting the panels in, and that is this bottom space. We've got quite a bit of room here, you know, empty space in between these beams, I guess you call them. So I would need to just cut down two pieces of boards to down to size. They are either, I forget, redwood or cedar scrap at the 70% pile. They are for fences. So that I figured, you know, that just two of those pieces together is perfect just to lay on top here. And that should hold the soil in. These corner pieces, I'm going to save it for the next series so that I can show you what I will do with them. Today, all I will be using are these side panels, these straight ones. Had to take a break because of the rain. This is what it looks like so far. I'll just explain a little bit what I did here. We started off putting the first panel on the edge here, aligning to that post, and then just marking down a few where the holes would be drilled, lightly screwed in or loosely screwed in. All 4 panels were screwed on loosely. The kit comes with multiple panels and I just overlap them. They're all pre-drilled. So you just match up the holes to the other holes and put them all together. And the second piece, this is the part that also came with the kit. So just connected the two to hold, you know, just easier to hold everything together first. And then once you get everything in place, it's time to tighten up all the bolts. This screw keeps loosening, so I'm just gonna tape it so that I can put the nut on the other end. Now I'm going to install the panels. Literally, you just overlap them and put the screws on. can't believe it's been a whole month since I've gotten this build. Everything is thriving. I'm so happy that finally I got something tall enough to reach for the sun. They're growing so much faster now. Got the bitter gourds in the background, strawberries in the front, sunflowers. I'm so excited about this build. I hope you guys are inspired by this project to get yourself out there and start gardening. Let me know in the comments down below, what is your gardening goal this season? And if you have better ways or simplified ways to build this bed, let me know as well. I mean, this floor is not even and the space is tight, so it's really important to be able to adjust the level on the bed, especially the bed being this tall. I don't want it to tilt over, and I need wheels to move it around if needed. I want to thank Forever Garden Beds sending me this planter. It definitely had motivated me to start tackling this project. If you got more than 2 feet of space and you want to add more growing space in your garden, be sure to check out my affiliated link. I'll put it down below for you, as well as my plant and seed shop. Thank you for being with me on this journey. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't, and hit that bell notification button. I will see you right back here in the next video. Bye.